Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time tonight. We're talking about Jack and Lilly Sullivan, who vanished from their Pictou County, Nova Scotia home 4 months ago. Last night, Junkyard Janie was on a live stream talking, and in my opinion, she slipped. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the other side of this. Thank you, Melanie.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Get the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls. Dropping cold facts, got the truth for the world. No smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is September 20th, 2025. It is currently 9:43 p.m. on the east coast of the United States. Bonjour. Hold on, I gotta fix my camera. 1 second. There we go. Hello, everyone. Good to see all of my pearls out there. Thank you so much for joining me. I apologize. It's a later than it normally is. I have had such a busy day. And sometimes things you got to wait longer at appointments and all of that than you expected. What was it? And so I apologize. I'm later than normal. But tomorrow I'm going to try my best to do 2 to 3 streams tomorrow because I really got to catch up on some stuff. I was worried there's no live today. I know. I bet a lot of people were. I know. I'm here. We're here, though. We got a lot to talk about. So before we get started, if you don't mind my live chat and my replay crew, please hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Also, share the live out for extra bonus points. You know you wanna. Hello, good to see you. I'm glad the live is later than normal. My son was acting like a demon possessed. No. Marie, listen, I can sympathize. I think all of us parents can sympathize with times like that with kids. Trust. Totally get it. Hey Kendall, well, good to see you. Thank you so much. So really do appreciate you guys. So last night, Miss Janie did an interview on DTS, And we're going to go over some of that because I think she might have told on Malaya a little bit. Oh, I forgot to check something. Let me see here. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, perfect. I want to check some. All right, guys. So thank you so much, Miss Melanie, coming in clutch. 6 months, darling. Thank you. Hello, Justin, Remy, and chat. Hello, Miss Melanie. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. Really do appreciate you, my dear. Good to see you. Yeah. So it's been wild. Last night we had a really good live stream talking about just the absolute inconsistencies of Daniel, Janie, Malaya, and all of that. And listen, there's other creators that feel differently about this case, and that's okay. Everyone's got the right to feel how you feel, and I personally don't see how people can ignore the alleged abuse and everything that was going on, though. You know what I mean? At the very, very least, I've always said these children were neglected at the very least, right? Oh my God, Joyous, honey. Thank you so much, Mamacita. You are so good to me, Joyous. Thank you, Mama. Love you to pieces. I hope you know that. You received one of those. Make sure you give our Joyous a big, big thank you. Thank you so much. Very humbling, Joyous. Appreciate you very, very much, honey. Truly. Just breathe such a warm welcome. Well, that's who we pearls are. We we try to keep it classy. However, sometimes the only people I really try not to be too classy with is people who hurt kids or animals, that kind of thing. I just can't. Panda, did you message me? I have been so busy all day. I have not even checked. Did you message me, honey? If you good to see you, lovies. 5 months tomorrow. It's a long time. It's a long time, Panda. Really is. Thank you, darling. Angie, thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you very much. Thank you both for being members as well. Really do appreciate that. I agree, Blueberry. Janie said she didn't tell Belinda some things she said I don't believe. Janie, as we have caught her in lies before. Yeah. Some people just, take her word for the gospel, and they do Daniel as well. And I really wonder why that is, to be quite honest with you. We love you too, Angie. Thank you, darling. So we're going to get into that tonight, and put your rubber boots on because it's going to get high. I mean, put your waders on, actually, the ones Daniel didn't wear while he was running through the streams and culverts and everything else. You know what I mean? So I may go live again after this tonight. I'm going to try. I am dragging, to be honest with you. I'm really going to try, though. Should have went and got some coffee. Made some coffee, rather. But we'll get there. I just drank a soda, so we should get some energy here shortly. Thank you, Magic Mary. Thank you for your hard work. Oh, I don't know about that. You're so sweet, Miss Magic. Thank you, Magic Mary. Appreciate you very much, honey. Good to see you. You are so kind. Thank you, my love. Good to see you, and thank you for your support. Thank you for being a member here on the channel and your kind words. Truly, good to see you. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. Y'all ready? Let's get it started. So credit goes to DTS, and we're going. This was Miss Junkyard Janie last night, speaking on DTS. So here we go. We're going to stop for some commentary on this, and let's go. What did I do? Okay.
You are live on the air, so just wanted to let you know we are live.
Okay. Just to clear up a few things, the investigators, RCMP, anybody to do with law enforcement is welcome to come on this property and do what they have to do.
Have you been?
Just wanted to clear that up.
And have they contacted you yet?
No, they haven't, and they haven't contacted Daniel neither.
And so they've not asked you if they can come on the property?
Deleted what?
No, they haven't.
Have they asked you in the past?
Yes, they have. But I also told them that they didn't need my permission to come on here. They could come anytime they wanted to come.
I mean, listen, it's great that they're doing that. I always give credit where, if they're, says you can come on the property, you can search this, but also they don't necessarily need your permission if they get warrants, right? Law enforcement, if they have enough probable cause to do anything, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Janie seemed confident all along about the kids not being on the property. I don't think the kids are on the property. I've never thought the kids were on the property. Never, not once.
Perfect. Yeah, it doesn't seem like you guys are opposing anything from what I can see.
Good question.
Nothing to hide. And another,
people who says nothing to hide, it's very interesting because you can tell with everything Daniel and Janie says, it is not about Jack and Lilly. It's not about Jack and Lilly. Nothing to hide. Well, they said this. Well, they thought this. What about Jack and Lilly? Like most people, of course you're not going to, if you're truly innocent and someone's disagreeing, of course you're not going to like it, but I don't think it's going to be your top priority when you have two kids missing. You know what I mean? Oh God, I've got the wrong song on. There we go. Sorry. It's too loud. So I don't understand. Gia, thank you, Mamacita. Good to see you. Yes, channel 100, latest 411. True what you told here. How you doing, Miss Gia? Thank you, babies. You're so sweet. I love you. Good to see you, my dear. Appreciate you very, very, very much, honey. Okay, here we go.
other thing I wanted to state too is Sonny says that for people to go out and search the property out around here. Well, I'm just going to mention something. I already discussed that with the investigators, and the investigators said it would be in our best interest not to let anybody on the property, because I could get in a lot of trouble. As Kent said, if somebody falls and breaks their leg or, gets hurt in any way, I am liable for them.
Okay. Could someone tell me how she would be liable, she said it the wrong way, liable for perfect strangers going out and searching for someone she's not even related to? I mean, could someone make that make sense? And in my opinion, Junkyard Janie, Daniel, and all of them, they should be welcoming people to search. Do it responsibly. Don't do it alone. Do it in at least a group party. And make sure you have, water and all that as well. But, and that's the next point, Tina. Right now, particularly the areas, which I don't really know if they're searching the areas, those same areas again with cadaver dogs. I'm sure that they are, but they don't want where the cadaver dogs can be. And that's understandable, completely understandable. But I don't know how she would be liable for someone else. Don't understand that at all. Okay, moving forward.
That and these individuals aren't law enforcement. I mean, as much as a lot of people think that they're put on this earth to solve cases without any experience or education or training, is beyond me.
Now, I don't really know much about this channel that had Janie on here. I've watched a couple times. He seems to think that his position, I don't want to speak for him because I think he's a good guy, but his position, I'll say generally, is that Daniel and them have nothing really to do with it. That's the way I take it. So I disagree with him on that personally.
You're not. Don't go on anybody's property. That's how people get hurt. That's how people end up getting shot. They wandered into the wrong property, and somebody with a gun who don't like them on their property ends up, expressing themselves in one form or fashion. Now, I'm not sure how the laws are out there, if you're allowed to have guns on your properties and things of that nature, but don't be going on anybody's property, guys.
Well, thing about Canada, there's just not a lot of people with pew-pews to begin with, right? There's just not a lot of pew-pews in Canada. Canada, they do arson. That's what they do. There's a lot of fires in Canada.
You've told me that you've seen, though, a number of people that have driven by your property, drones and things of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes, we have people driving by here. Actually, I have signs up that say no trespassing at private drive, but people still have the balls, to stop in our driveway. And when we...
Janie, you've probably got bigger balls than all of us combined, okay? You say private drive like it's a road. It's a muddy driveway, Janie. It's a muddy driveway with a washing machine out in the front yard. Okay? So don't get it twisted.
Walk out to the end of the driveway to see what they want. They put their car in reverse and they take off up the road. They turn up at the Lansdowne Station Road, come back again, and just drive by. Mm-hmm. And we also have drones that...
That's not illegal. It's not illegal.
Go here all night. Yeah. I don't know why, if they like to.
And probably, in my opinion, half of it's paranoia from probably Daniel with his math tell.
Watch a 60-year-old woman and a 34-year-old boy sleep. That's their choice. Another thing I'd like to...
Okay, watch a 64-year-old woman and 32 or 34-year-old boy sleep. I mean, I don't think they can see in your camper. I mean, as long as you put curtains in your windshield there, Janie, they're not going to be able to see.
clear up what Kent is saying. Kent has never been on this property. So nothing against you, Kent, but if you don't know what you're talking about, don't say nothing. My brothers and myself, like my family is originally from here. My brother Ron lives in the homestead, so I grew up here.
A young black guy.
And my brothers have grown up here. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. They have grown up in this area. We know this area like the back of our hands.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I believe that you guys probably know that area like the back of your hands. And for me, that's something else. Right? You know all the area.
Now, as far as Ken is saying about sinking in bogs 10 feet deep, no, that's not true.
Why is she so worried about Kent? Why is she so worried about Kent? Why are you bent on Kent, Janie? What, he wouldn't give you a pack of cigarettes? What? Like, why?
There's no such things as the bogs around here. And as far as Steve Cliff's
The only bogs that are around there is you, Janie. You're the only bog, in my opinion.
goes, as far as I know, and my brothers have searched this property, searched all around here. The only big cliff on this property is just up back of my house here, and it has been searched.
Good deal. Good to know.
So,
one question, Janie. How much property do you own? How big is your property?
I own 2.2 acres.
Okay, so a lot of the surrounding area isn't even your property, correct?
2.2 acres.
No, mostly all the property that is out here is privately owned.
Okay.
The only place that is Scott Paper or owns back in my place here. I don't know how many acres, but there's another friend of the family that owned this property. The son of the fellow that owned this property before I bought it. He owns 100 acres up back. And another thing I wanted to mention is the trails that you were talking about.
Okay, before we get on the trails, he owns 100 acres out back. I really believe that needs to be checked, in my opinion. Really needs to be checked. Think about that. We know that blanket and those shoe prints was down the road where Martell Sr. lives. Earl. Yes, Earl. So I think it needs to be checked, in my opinion.
Oh, the only trail that would be a very access for the kids to go, if they did wander it, would be the road that's up the top of my place, up the top of the hill here, that goes through and goes up and goes out through the pipeline. All the other trails are.
Do you hear that? Goes. Hold on, listen to that again.
The family that owned this property, the son of the fellow that owned this property before I bought it, he owns 100 acres up back. And another thing I wanted to mention is the trails that you were talking about. The only trail that would be a very access for the kids to go, if they did wander it, would be the road that's up the top of my place, up the top of the hill here, that goes through and goes up and goes out through the pipeline.
And it goes out through the pipeline, right? Let's we'll look at that in just a second here. Out through the pipeline, which is where the area that Janie said she saw Daniel back there, right? I can't remember if it's this interview, but she says Daniel's in a vehicle or something. And Daniel could not have went back there because wasn't there a tree that was across the road? Right? A tree that was across the road. 1 second here. Let's see if this is it. All right. So check this out, y'all. Come right back to this. All right. So again, if we look at here, look at this, y'all. This is so obvious. They're telling us, in my opinion, without telling us. All right, here is Jack and Lily's. This is where they live, right? And this is the trail that she's talking about. You can go this way or you can go over here, right? Or you can go through here. And she's talking about this trail. Well, let's follow this trail. Look, if you go this way, oh, wow. Look, that's where the child's boot prints were found. Imagine that. Over here is where the blanket was found. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I don't think he went back here with a car, in my opinion. I think he went back here with an ATV, in my opinion. Now, do I think Jack and Lily are like right in this area right here? No, I don't. I don't. But I do think that's how, in my opinion, the blanket got there and the shoe prints.
All the other trails grew up with altars. Very difficult to walk through.
So the trail with the pipeline, is that the same pipeline where the footprint?
And you got to remember, this is also where Janie says her and Justin was, and when they ran into Daniel. Isn't it interesting how everyone, like Janie says she runs into Daniel the morning when the children first went missing, that she ran into him, her and Justin ran into him at the trail. I think it was Saturday when they had the ATV. Daniel is always by himself. Always by himself. Not really searching with anyone. How convenient.
Prints, the boot prints were found?
No, that is up the Lansdowne Road.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you leave my place, okay, come out of my driveway and turn right and go up the road and you pass the tracks and then you go to your right again up the dirt road, the Lansdowne Road.
Let me show you this again. Just an FYI. So she's talking about this. You're going to turn right and you're going to go to Lansdowne Road. This is, again, you can go this way. And this is where blanket boot print was found. Right in these areas. Earl lives up here somewhere up there, but let me just show you. This is what it looks like. I mean, it's just an old, dirt road. This is a road that the blanket, it's 1 kilometer away. 1 kilometer away. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And you go up there, the pipeline that they're
Daniel is now blaming. Who is it? Who's he blaming? One of Malaya's friends.
tracks were found on was up there on your left-hand side.
Hmm.
The
Is it-
blanket was found just before the pipeline on a road that Scott Paper had put in. That is like a government thing that they go up there and they cut pulpwood and that. It's government owned.
How many ways can you walk there? Is it just one way that you have to walk down the street and up the street, the main streets to get there? Or are there alternative paths through the back to get there through some of these four-wheeler drives?
I know.
Through the pipeline?
Yeah, where
Through
the
the pipeline where the footprint was found?
correct.
The only way you can get through there, if you go up back of up to the top, the road up by the top of my hill, if you go up that road and you...
There you go, which is what I just showed you, not the where she went the back. He's asking, well, how can you get up there? And that is, you can get behind their yard. You can get up there with the ATV. You can take the trail, or you can take the main road and go on to Lansdowne. Mm-hmm. Very interesting, isn't it?
Go up through the woods and you go down the pipeline. You can go down through that way, but you have to cross over the railroad tracks. A brook and then the railroad tracks.
But you can
And
get
then
there.
you cross-
That's not the main drive. Like, you don't have to necessarily walk on the street to get there, correct?
You can go up the Lansdowne Road.
Okay.
And
Lansdowne Road, or behind her in her backyard, one or the other. Hey, January, thank you again, baby. Appreciate you. In my opinion, the kids got a hold of rugs, or they 1,000% agree, or they lost control during disciplining one of the kids and had to silence the other as they were witnesses. Yeah, I agree with you with everything with that. The last part could be sometimes they have to silence. Sometimes they get paranoid, especially if they're on the rugs and they feel like they have to unalive them. Sometimes they think that they're demons, or God told them to do something, with the rugs. But yeah, one of the two, in my opinion as well. 1,000%. Yep. And I was showing the other day where two kids, the mom and the dad, did regular rugs in the home. The children one was, I think, 2, and the other one was 4 or 5. Both of them had an OD in the house. Both of them. One died. And they saved the other one after he was in a coma for a long time. What if Justin and Janie did to the kids and they're keeping it from Millie and Daniel? I don't see that, Shelby. I don't see that. For a number of reasons. First, and this is just my opinion. You're welcome to believe what you want, darling. But first, a mother doesn't act like that. Right? A mother doesn't behave like that if she thought someone else did something. Parents, step-parents, family members don't lie. Right? They wouldn't be lying and changing their stories and all of that. So I don't think that's it, in my opinion. People just don't behave like this if your kids are missing, or family members, or loved ones, or a friend even. Just a mother doesn't behave like this, and a stepfather doesn't either.
the pipeline, if you go up the Lansdowne Road from the 289 and you go up the Lansdowne Road, and on your left is the pipeline. You can only.
What's that, Shannon? In my opinion, didn't Dee say woods, then neighbors, then bear? Just saying. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I completely disagree with him 100% on all of those. Like all 100% disagree with that. He's a younger Don Wells. Yes, Cher. 1,000%. Yes.
Walk through the pipeline. You can go up there with a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
But for a vehicle to get up there, no.
Yes, just breathe.
No, you can't drive a vehicle on the pipeline.
But you can walk
4-wheeler,
there.
yes. You can walk up the pipeline, yes.
Okay. And
you can walk on the pipeline and you can take an ATV. Now, this is my question. How was Daniel back there when Janie was back there? Daniel says, see, this is where they fuck up. Daniel says he runs up the hill to where the cabins are. He runs down the hill. By that time, Malaya is on the phone. He immediately jumps in his car. Janie says she comes outside. Malaya has Meadow on her hip. And she says, "What's up?" And she says, "The kids have been missing 20 minutes. Janie says she runs inside, gets on her shoes, runs up the hill, and runs back to behind the house. Back behind the house where she sees Daniel. You can't take your car back there. I just said that. Janie just said that. So how the hell did Janie see Daniel back there when Daniel said he jumped in his car and took all the dirt roads, and he explicitly said not trails? We heard that yesterday. Not trails, where the car could go. So it's these little things that are big things, actually. How does that happen? That's why Daniel, Janie, none of them will go to anybody, any creator that will actually ask them real questions. Real questions. Not, just, what's your opinion on Malaya? Like, let's get to the fucking nitty gritty here of this. Let's get to it. We don't got time to be pissing around. Answer the question or don't. It's that simple. And if you don't want to clear up things, to me, it just makes you look just as worse. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, Fran. Thank you, babies. Good to see you, mamacitas. How you doing? Hello, Justin Mods and Pearls. Was her son, Justin, questioned, given a lie detector test? It's so telling because M left the next day. I would never leave. Correct. First of all, Fran, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. And thank you for being a member. Can't thank you enough, dear. Justin was questioned. He was not given a polygraph. Not given a polygraph. So he was questioned, not given a polygraph. And Malaya did leave the next day. And just hearing Belinda last night, her heart breaking whenever she was talking about Malaya. She said when Malaya left the next day, she said, I knew then. And she just broke, and it just broke my heart hearing this grandmother cry, because I mean, I don't have grandchildren yet, but everyone says grandchildren are just the most amazing thing, right? And I can tell you, for me, that the closest person I've ever been to, other than, your kids or your significant other or whoever, was my grandmother. She raised me. She was my mom. So my heart just really hurts for Brenda, because she's the only one that is actually trying to get truth. Period. That's it. So thank you so much, Fran. Appreciate you, my dear. Oh my God, Joyous. Oh my God, girl. Thank you. Thank you so much. My goodness, Miss Joyous. Thank you, honey. I so appreciate that. No idea. Thank you so much, Joyous. If you received one of those memberships from our dear Joyous, please give her a big thank you, my dear. Good to see you, Miss Joyous, again. Thank you, lovies. My grandchildren are my life. Yeah. And I think it's the reason why that is because you're older, and you, for the most part, you're more calm, when you're older generally, and you don't have, most grandparents don't have the stresses of raising them and all of that, and going to work, and just all that stuff. And also, it's just your child who you love to the end of the universe and back, right? Having their child, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch, right? So I think that's why grandkids are just so,
But I'm not sure how far the footprint was found. Malaya just sent me a picture and I sent it to you. That's the only picture I've seen of that footprint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far up there it was found or not. I have no clue.
And just a couple of background questions. Have you or your son ever lawyered up?
No, we haven't.
Have you ever turned down any?
Well, they haven't lawyered up. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't necessarily mean anything either way. What? Fun to ski, honey. Thank you so much as well. Wow. Oh my God. Thank you, darling. Wow. You guys are amazing to me. I appreciate you very, very much, Fun to Ski. You are an OG gangsta pearl, honey. Thank you so much, Fun to Ski. I really, really do appreciate you for just your length of support from my old channel to this channel. It means so much to me. It really does. And if you received one of those, make sure you give Fun to Ski a big thank you as well. Very kind of you, Fun to Ski. Good to see you, baby. He also thinks since they passed polygraph, they are innocent. As an ex-mall cop, I'd beg to differ, in my opinion. Yeah, lie detector means nothing.
Interrogation or interview by law enforcement.
I'm going to.
If the RCMP bases this entire investigation on people who passed a polygraph, then they did not do their due diligence, right? Which I don't believe that. I do believe that they are working hard, RCMP. Again, Daniel said something the other day, and it made me, again, he's not very good at this. he said, no, I asked the cops if I needed to take a drug test. I asked CPS if I need to. They all said no, it's not a concern. Well, if that's the truth, then you could have taken rugs on your polygraph, which would be as good as ripping up something, which would skew the polygraph. Daniel lied about taking a polygraph. No, he didn't lie. He really didn't lie about taking the polygraph. Well, I've got the documents. It says that he took it and he passed. But, that's just a fact. Doesn't mean we have to agree with it, that it's accurate. But they are saying he absolutely took it. He passed. Now, there was 2 different polygraphers. I don't know what the mall cop thing was. I see y'all saying mall cop or something, but I don't know what that means. So I can't tell you. Oh my God, Shannon. Why? Thank you, honey. God. Thank you, Shannon. I really do appreciate that, girl. Wow. You are very, very kind to me, Shannon, on this channel as well. Y'all are, my pearls are amazing. Amazing. Truly. Every single one of you are the best. Every single one of you. Much love to you, Shannon. Truly. Thank you so much. I think he lied about what the police said about substance tests. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think he probably would have lied, but especially with the CPS thing. I mean, look at the CPS thing that was going on. Oh, Jen, thank you, baby. Love you all. Deal with severe depression and anxiety, and Justin and pearls. You make that makes me want to cry. Thank you so much, Jen. We love you and adore you here, my dear. Really, really do appreciate you. Jen, if you want to message me, I've dealt with when I had my Lyme's disease, which I still have, but just not active right now. But it made me very depressed because it's, the stuff that the tick gives you, the antibodies and all that stuff. I did a lot of research because I was very depressed, and there's some supplements you can take. I mean, it doesn't get rid of depression, like, there's no magic cure, but there is some supplements that you can take if you want to reach out to me. And I'm not a doctor, got to say that, but they really do help. Oh, Bella's got it now. Wow. Yeah, it's Lyme's disease is something it changed my life. I've never been the same. Never been the same. I can't think of names now. I'll never remember names. You guys have to remind me of names all the time. Some days are just worse than others. But I am 1,000,000,000% better than I used to be. Thank the Lord in heaven.
Tell you something right now. I've called 6 lawyers so far to try to get access to see my grandchildren, and everyone has turned me down.
She has called 6 attorneys, y'all, for her grandchildren, and everyone turned.
Because of this here investigation going on with Jack and Lilly.
You think that's the reason? You think that's the reason? Thank you, dear. Could be. You never know. I mean, they know.
No one will take my case because of all of this.
Maybe we can find a lawyer somewhere that would be willing to help you. If anybody who can hear this that is able to practice out there in Nova Scotia, give us an email, drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com. See if we can help her out. you know, when it came to your son, he turned over his phone. Has he ever been defensive about anything when it comes to law enforcement?
No, Daniel has cooperated with the investigators through all of this. Same with myself. We have cooperated with them. I haven't seen them now, and I'm going to explain. The last time I have seen the investigators was 2 weeks ago when they came to pick up Jack and Lily's belongings.
When was the last time
Malaya
they
was
talked to
listen.
you about the case in
Listen.
particular? Without,
They haven't talked to me about the case at all.
well, when was the last time? I mean, obviously in the beginning they must
Very
have.
important here.
Like, have
They
they?
did
Like, have they since the polygraph test?
since the polygraph test.
Okay. So she says we haven't seen them, the RCMP, in 2 weeks when they came to get Jack and Lily's clothes. Malaya wanted them. Keep listening. Very important part here.
They haven't talked to me at all about, they just told me when I took my polygraph test that it was inconclusive because of a heart problem I have.
It was inconclusive because of a heart problem she had.
I asked if I could take it again, and they told me that it would be the same thing.
Mhm.
So there was no reason for me to take another one because it's going to turn out the same way.
So you
But
would
I
say,
volunteered to take another one.
so you would say that the investigators have decreased their communication with you guys since then?
Yes, as I said, with any information, I have not heard from them. As I was going to say, the last time I seen the investigators that were on this property was about 2 weeks ago when they came to pick up Jack and Lily's belongings that Malaya had requested.
Yeah.
And we gave them that stuff for them to take to Malaya.
Yeah.
And there was 6 bags of Jack and Lily's clothes
Mhm.
that were turned over to the investigators. Nothing of Malaya's because there was nothing of Malaya's here.
Right. Yeah, you've explained to me that all of Malaya's belongings were already gone by then.
Yes, when she did laundry over Wednesday, the only thing we could figure out, Daniel and I, is when she did laundry Wednesday at her grandmother's.
Yeah.
She didn't return any of her belongings at all. It was Jack and Lily's and Daniel's clothes.
Yeah. Bullshit. Bullshit. Malaya, first of all, when you do laundry, do you still have laundry in your closet? It is joyous. I still have laundry in my closet, in my drawers. A lot of it. Most of it. Janie, if you believe Daniel or you are helping Daniel, you're a lunatic, in my opinion, allegedly. Malaya, she's saying Malaya took all of her stuff to her grandma's the day they did laundry, Thursday. What about shoes, toothbrushes? What about her things? Right? What about pictures, albums, knickknacks? This is very weird. She had no idea that her clothes. All right, you son of a. Listen to this. When Malaya went to bed Thursday night, Did she not put on pajamas or change of clothes? And wake up the next morning and put more clothes on? I guess everything's okay, Tennessee Nana. I haven't heard anything. I've just been trying to let her heal. Did she not wear clothes there Friday and Saturday? What is up with these clothes? You're not invisible, Andrea. I see you, baby. Just now seeing you. First time in here tonight, but I see you. That is insanity. BBB, I'm honestly starting to think Janie means... I don't think she's a main, but I think she, again, is either highly gullible, that her mathematics son is manipulating. If you are addicted to street, rugs, you're manipulative. That's just part of it. It doesn't even make sense. What about, she's lived there for 2 years. You don't think she has some things that she wants out of there? Yeah, she lives in denial. Listen to that again. Just listen. Anybody believes that?
Malaya's belongings were already gone by then.
And there was 6 bags of Jack and Lily's clothes that were returned.
6 bags of Jack and Lily's clothes. So, did Malaya take 6 bags over and have them washed of just Jack and Lily's clothes on Thursday? No. Nobody takes that much clothes of 2 kids to wash at one time and then wash Daniel's dirty ass underwear and Malaya's clothes. 6 bags. And Malaya, you don't think it would have been, Daniel would have thought, oh, why does Malaya not have any clothes here in that little trailer?
Were turned over to the investigators.
I can't get
nothing of Malaya's because there was nothing of Malaya's here.
Right. Yeah, you've explained to me that all of Malaya's belongings were already gone by then.
Yes, when she did laundry over Wednesday, the only thing we could figure out, Daniel and I, is when she did laundry Wednesday at her grandmother's.
Yeah.
She didn't return any of her belongings at all. It was.
I thought it was Thursday. No, it was Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. She didn't bring any of her clothes from her grandmother's. I hope somebody that is talking to Malaya that's watching this, I would like to hear Malaya's. She'll probably answer that. Malaya, did you leave your clothes at your grandmother's? Because I guarantee you she's going to say no. Guarantee you. She's going to say no. She wouldn't have asked for it, dumbass Daniel. She wouldn't have asked for her stuff if she knew she left it at her grandmother's. Janie's too stupid to believe it, I guess. That's the only thing that's it. No, not correct. When Malaya left, with the baby. She took her and the baby's things. She did not take her, and she left on a moment's notice. She was in the back of the ambulance having an anxiety attack. Her mom talked to her. They peeled paint. She left in a hurry. She couldn't have possibly. Yeah.
It's Jack and Lily's and Daniel's clothes, and very few of Meadows.
I've heard some rumors that some folks have said that you may have heard a woman saying shush or something of that nature outside that morning. Just to clarify for everybody, what all did you hear that morning?
What all I heard was Friday morning. After my brother had called me, I laid down and my dog started barking, and I could hear Jack and Lily outside talking and laughing. I did not hear no woman shush. So I'm just going to clear this up. That came from, I'm sorry, Darren, but that came from Darren and Belinda. And I've talked to Belinda, and I did not mention anything about a woman shush. Now, Belinda and I had a talk, and I told Belinda everything that happened that morning. Yeah. And it's exactly the same thing that I have told in my interview and to the investigators. And I've been trying to continue to say what had happened, but you know what the internet is like.
Yeah. There's a bunch of folks who will throw out a bunch of theories without any evidence, just because it sounds good, in their mind, it sounds good. And so, no, I understand completely.
Throw out weird theories, but
there's just one point I like to put across. I had nothing to do with anything to do with Jack and Lily.
Right.
And why would I not, if I knew where Jack and Lily were, why I would tell the investigators where I knew Jack and Lily were? Because do you think I like living this life? Do you think I like all these accusations and all these rumors going on? I do not like it.
It's not about you, Janie. It's not about Daniel either. It's about Jack and Lily. How do you think they feel? How do you think they feel with the black eyes all the time, with the bruises all the time, with the teachers calling CPS because they're concerned? Did you not hear the interview last night?
Nobody would like it.
Of what even? I mean, a 4-year-old doesn't get several black eyes. I don't care if they're the clumsiest kid on the planet. A 4-year-old doesn't get several black eyes. And that is what they said last night. I'm 40 and I've never had a black eye. I've had other bruises, never a black eye. Is Janie or Daniel? Well, and just breathe. That's a good question. If Janie or Daniel did something to the kids, why wouldn't Malaya speak up? That's why I think it is an accident, a rug accident.
I really hope Jack and Lily are found. And when they are found, I hope they go to a good home. I really do. And in my heart, I believe Jack and Lily are still alive. And
she hopes they go to a good home. Well, thank you for admitting essentially there that Malaya and Daniel were not good parents, because it wasn't a good home. It wasn't a good life. It wasn't a good childhood. It was a toxic environment. Physically around them, with the filth, the alleged rugs, emotionally with the, Malaya saying Daniel holding her down, not letting her have her phone, all of that. didn't take them anywhere. Have you seen a picture of these kids anywhere going to a Chuck E. Cheese or whatever the hell there is around there in Halifax around or any place? Daniel said Malaya wouldn't even take the kids to town if he wasn't with her. I believe that. I do believe Daniel in that. And they just made him sit in the car the whole fucking time. They probably love to go to school. Poor kids.
Will to this day that I die, till I die, but I did not have nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance or unaliving those children.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like the RCMP believe it either. You know, it seems like they've
I disagree with that.
cleared all of you guys, to be honest with you.
I have not. They have not cleared anybody.
You know, they've done their investigation. It seems like it was exhaustive.
They're not finished investigating. I disagree.
Before the lie detector test, how often was RCMP contacting you and Daniel?
They would come when this first all happened.
There's not a soul that's been cleared. There's not a soul that's been named a suspect either. And I think if they've exhausted everything, they wouldn't be going out there with cadaver dogs.
Happened, they were here, I'd say maybe twice, 3 times a week. And then as things eventually got going, we'd hardly ever see them. I hardly ever seen them. Now, Daniel is in more contact with them than I am.
Yeah. And is that
So
because
that's
he
the
wants to
question
contact them, or is that because they're contacting him?
No, he usually goes and sees them to see how things are going. But myself, I don't bother with them at all. If they have anything that they need to ask me, they can call me. I told them that already.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you want to know anything, just call me. I said, I got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bria.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. You know, I know a lot of,
it is.
you know, it's a scenario where we don't know the answers to, and when some people don't know the answers, they start making up their own answers, and it's a slippery slope. You know, I feel for you and your family and all the problems that you guys are.
It's very easy to show the inconsistencies Daniel and Janie, for that matter, but specifically Daniel has said. It's very easy. Why would any soul lie about a 4 and a 6-year-old going missing? Why would a grown-ass stepfather lie about something so important as finding a blanket and admitted that he lied? I'll wait. I'll fucking wait. No way.
Going through.
Thank you.
You know, it's to also be missing children and then have the world accuse you at the same time is it's unimaginable. Absolutely. You know, I'd understand.
Absolutely. Who said this? JC, everyone there is guilty of neglecting and ignoring those sweet babies. At the very least. At the very least. That's what I've said. Like, at the very least, if Jack and Lily just walked out on their own, it shows that that while they had Jack and Lily, they didn't give a rat's ass about anything other than themselves and their own lives. And afterward, after they was missing, let's say they just walked out into the woods and that's it. Something, they came to the, sorry, Mom. 1 second. They succumb to the elements. And they're lying for whatever reason. I don't know why anyone would lie on a 4 and a 6-year-old if they have nothing to do with it or have knowledge or something. But let's just say, again, they just walked out into the woods and they succumbed to their injuries or whatever. Before they went missing, they didn't give a rat's ass. After they vanished, they didn't give a rat's ass either. So what does that say about them? What does that say about them? Because I don't believe someone who loves their children or their friend or their spouse or whoever, if they go missing, they don't lie. They don't lie. They don't tell mixed stories, total opposite stories. They just don't do that. And they're at least proactive in their missing loved one. Not one child, 2 children, 2 human beings, 4 and 6 years old. They have names, they had fingerprints, they had footprints, they had voices, they had laughs, they had cries. Human beings. And you don't give a fuck afterward either? You just care about yourself, how you're perceived? Go to hell. Go to hell. Don't collect $200. Go to hell.
Stand if you guys lawyered up, if you guys didn't want to take a lie detector test, you guys refused to hand over your phones or bank records, you guys refused to hand over your locations.
Again, whether they refused or not, that doesn't mean the law enforcement isn't going to get it. Now, again, it is a positive thing that they hand over their phones and all that. But whether you hand over your phone or not, law enforcement's going to get it. Number 1. Number 2, you have no problem handing over your phone if it's left at home. If it's left at home. So there's that as well. There's no cameras out there. None of that. Now, you guys remember Malaya talking about standing in a corner, turning her Wi-Fi off and standing in a corner. Well, I think Miss Janie slipped.
I'd 100% be like, hey, there's some shadiness going on here. But the amount of cooperation that you guys have had and them not being able to find something is extremely telling to me.
As I said, we're cooperating with them.
And let me tell you something. Just because we have no idea things that they have found or not found, they did release things about their lie detector test, things about, what else was it? Certain warrants, and all that, but they didn't release everything in the investigation. There's no way that they release everything in the investigation. It's an active investigation. We don't have everything. And just because they, again, passed a polygraph, Daniel said they didn't even drug test him. So, in my opinion, if they don't drug test him and do a polygraph, it's null and void because you're supposed to be rug tested. You're not even supposed to take blood pressure medication, heart medication, that kind of things.
To the fullest, and they're more than welcome here anytime, as I said.
Yeah.
Daniel, he is cooperating 100% with the investigators. As you said, a little things get screwed up when things are asked, but you just got to remember, how many times have we been asked these same questions over and over and over again, and it doesn't seem.
Ma'am, that's not an excuse. Janie loves to use this. How many times have we been asked the same questions over and over and over again? Well, it shouldn't change, from one answer to a completely separate, opposite answer. It shouldn't. What happened, happened. And the accounts should be the same. Just like I was telling you at the beginning of this live stream. Janie says she walked outside. Malaya's there with the baby on her hip. Daniel's up at the whatever they are, the little cabins. He runs down. By that time, Malaya is on the phone. Daniel says he jumps in his car and takes the dirt roads, any dirt road that a car can go on. He does the streams, the rivers, whatever the shit he says. Again, Janie says she jumps and gets on her shoes. Neither one of them, Daniel or Janie, conveniently doesn't take their phones. Okay. But regardless, she goes to the back of her house, the property there where the pipeline is, where the trail is. She sees Daniel. You can't take a car on that property. Daniel's supposed to be in his car on the dirt roads and all of this. Remember, Daniel says 10 minutes he was gone and he did all of this. Bullshit. First of all, Daniel couldn't have got back there because there was a tree down and the RCMP had to cut it to get back there to begin with, number one. So how did that happen? How does these things happen? Oh, we say, we've been asked 100,000 times the same question. Well, 100,000 times, it should be relatively very, very consistent.
The matter, we answer the questions, but still people don't listen. Like, as I'm going to mention, like the neighbor saying,
listen, I listen very carefully. That's what I've been trained to do. Listen very, very carefully. And I know bullshit when I see it.
Saying that he heard a 5-speed car.
Yeah.
We did not hear no 5-speed car. About having a party that Thursday night. We had no party. I would never allow that on my property.
Well, it's easy to figure out if you had a party. I mean, for one,
first of all, there's partying and then there's a party. Right? I have no idea, Sherry. No idea. I know she was trying to become the guardian, but I have no idea. Hold on. Partying is a slang term for you can be sitting around doing illegal substances. That can be considered as partying. Having a party, like a celebration. I got to get this fixed. Like a celebration is a different. That's having a party, right? I don't believe Daniel and Malaya were, going to the Dollarama to get balloons or anything for a party, but I do believe there was probably people in and out of that place to get things, buy things, sell things. I don't know. But I do believe that there was perhaps people there. And math users, it generally takes about $10 to $20 a day to keep a math user pretty toked up, right? Math is a very, very cheap rug. People don't even make it anymore. Remember several years ago, 90s, early 2000s, how all the labs were blowing up? Do you hear that anymore? You don't hear it anymore. Why? Because they don't have to make it anymore. They don't have to make it anymore because it's so cheap. It's actually cheaper for them to buy it off the streets than it is for them to make it. So 10, 20 bucks a day. Yeah. Now, Crackadoodle, that's a different one. That's expensive, right? But the mathematics is a different one. And that they can burn up pretty quick. Right? I don't think that there was a lab or anything like that in there.
When people go to your house, let me ask you this. When people go to your house, do they have to connect to your Wi-Fi to use their phones?
Yes, they do.
Do people
have no cell
often...
service.
Do you hear that? When people go to their house, do they have to connect to Wi-Fi to use their phones? She says, yes, they do. Off the bat, instantly. Yep. All right, so tell me this. Why did Malaya say in the document that she had to turn her Wi-Fi off so she could make a phone call? You can make a 911 phone call through Wi-Fi calling, which is that's how they normally called, was through Wi-Fi. We all have Wi-Fi calling on our phone. So why did Malaya say she turned off her Wi-Fi to get a signal, which doesn't make sense? Bingo. Yep. So that didn't help her right there at all. You can call 911 just the same through Wi-Fi calling as you can a regular cellular data phone call. 100%. Yummy, Andrea. So just listen to that again.
I mean, for one, when people go to your house, let me ask you this. When people go to your house, do they have to connect to your Wi-Fi to use their phones?
Yes, they do.
Do people...
Yep. Yes, they do. Now, I do agree with if there were people at their house, like a day before or something like that, it still has nothing to do with Jack or Lily, in my opinion, going missing. But even if they don't connect to the Wi-Fi, there's a thing called, what we call it, a handshake, and it's going to let the device, shake hands with the router and say, hey, I'm here. Do you want to connect? Right? You know, when you're discovering, you know, when it says, when you are scanning for Wi-Fi's and it says discovering, and then they'll pop, that's shaking hands. That's when it's shaking hands. It does that all through the day. You ride down your neighbor's street, your devices are connecting, or not connecting, shaking hands with all of your neighbor's devices. Right? She turned off her Wi-Fi to get a better cell data signal. You don't have to turn off your Wi-Fi to get a better cell data signal. That's ludicrous. Her Text Plus app did not allow Wi-Fi emergency calls. She used Text Plus app. Why didn't she just call? You don't need a Plus app to make any calls. You don't need a Text Plus app. That's an excuse. Hold on. Look at there. Wi-Fi calling. All you got to do is select that. You don't need an app. I can select that right now. I don't want to do it. I can select that right now and use my regular phone number. You don't need an app. You just call through your phone.
Well,
We have no cell
often
service here.
do people often ask you to do that? Like your friends, do they have, like when you do have friends come over, do they connect to your Wi-Fi?
Do you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
None of my friends ever come out here to visit me.
Well, if I were to
And
go out there to visit you, would I need to
you'd have,
connect? And would you allow
yes,
me?
yes,
Okay. And so
yes.
I would assume that if you had friends that went, you know, these are people that you know, you're probably going to give them your Wi-Fi information, like save it on their phone. Like for me, I don't give anybody my password, but I'll be like, hey, give me your phone. I'll log into the Wi-Fi, save it, like, you know, always connect or whatever. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to figure out if people are in the area, you know, with their phones and geofencing and checking the router from your Wi-Fi. It would have been very easy to determine if you guys had a party and a group of people that were out there the night before.
Yeah, and another thing too, in the last 2 years since Malaya and Daniel been living in my trailer,
Yeah.
the only ones that ever came to visit on this property when they lived here was Cindy and Wade, and they only came about 5 times. Cindy and Wade never came to any of Jack and Lily's birthday parties.
Mhm.
Well, and let's say she didn't even have service. Like she had no provider whatsoever, and she just used her Text Now app, right? She had no provider whatsoever. None. She can still use the Wi-Fi calling and call 911 through her Wi-Fi. Not through the app. Not through the app. Through her phone. You can still call through Wi-Fi through your phone. No provider whatsoever. Yes, all phones let you call emergency. Yeah. Whether you have, now, it is true, you do have to have some service. Now, you don't have to have, the only way it's not going to call 911 is if it has the circle all the way through it, which rarely happens. It will call on a 2G. It will call on a 2G, which is nothing. They're phasing 2G even out. I think by the end of the year, like nobody's going to have 2G. Like, it's useless now. So like that's from like the 90s. Let me back this up though.
The neighbor saying that he heard a 5-speed car.
1 second.
I would assume that if you had friends that went, these are people that you're probably going to give them your Wi-Fi information, like save it on their phone. Like for me, I don't give anybody my password, but I'll be like, hey, give me your phone. I'll log into the Wi-Fi, save it, like, always connect or whatever. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to figure out if people are in the area, with their phones and geofencing and checking the.
Well, Faye, that's what she's getting to. They don't have good signal there. They really don't have good signal there. And I get that, right? I mean, and that's part of the reason, in my opinion, Jack and Lily haven't been found. This hasn't been solved sooner. But Malaya says she turns off her Wi-Fi so she can get a better signal, and she has to stand in a corner. Janie says here, there is no service at all on the property. And then the guy that's interviewing, he said, well, Malaya said she stood in a corner so you can get service there sometimes. And she said, very, very rarely. How convenient. Daniel says he runs back down the hill and Malaya is standing out there with Meadow on her hip and she's on the phone with 911. That's not the corner. Oh, it's okay if someone disagrees with me. It's okay, Charlotte, honey. I don't even see it, to be honest with you. I do. But that's okay. Thank you, baby.
The router from your Wi-Fi. It would have been very easy to determine if you guys had a party and a group of people that were out there the night before.
Yeah, and another thing too, in the last 2 years since Malaya and Daniel been living in my trailer, the only ones that ever came to visit on this property when they lived here
100%.
was Cindy and Wade, and they only came about 5 times. Cindy and Wade never came to any of Jack and Lily's birthday parties.
Mm-hmm.
She's taking a dig at Cindy.
Patty and Hayden have been here because, well, Patty came first by herself, but since Patty got sick, Hayden has been driving her. And they came to Jack and Lily's birthday parties all the time. But as far as anybody else visiting, no, nobody's ever come here to visit Malaya since she's been here.
Yeah. But they've been there, 2 years, you said? It
was 2 years in August since they moved in here.
And did Malaya seem like she wanted to be there in the end?
At first, really, she had, her situation with her grandmother, I don't know what happened there. But the thing is they called me on a Monday, and Daniel called me on a Monday and asked me if they can move into the trailer. And I said, yes. I said, when are you moving? And he said, we don't know yet. And the next thing I know, they were moving in on that Friday. So I had 4 days to find somewhere to live.
Oh, geez. And so, because, I was reading the report and I've talked to some people that are close to Malaya, some of her family members, and it sounds like, to me, my perception is that she was not happy there. Now, I don't necessarily believe or know for a fact one reason or another why. But I do believe that she wanted to maybe perhaps leave Daniel. I think she was telling her friends and family.
Yeah, I believe Malaya was done. And I've honestly thought about this as well. I believe Malaya was done with the relationship. I believe Daniel knew it was coming to a close. And what does a man who tries to control you, right? Holding her down, taking her phone, all of that, won't let her go around, Belinda because of her son, all of that. What happens to when you take the control back? They throw a fit. They throw a fit. And many times they get violent. When it comes to filicide, a parent or a parental figure who unalives a child, if I'm not saying that happened, but I'm telling you, there's only a few reasons why filicide happens. But one of the main reasons why filicide happens is because they want to hurt their loved one more than anything. And they do that by hurting children. Now, I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's a probability in this situation, though. And the reason I think that is because I feel like Malaya would have said something. Right? I feel like Malaya would have said, I was in this abusive relationship. I was trying to leave. Daniel, or whoever flipped out and did something terrible. So I think, in my opinion, I don't feel like that's the reason, but it could have happened. I don't know why, if that, that scenario, if it would have happened, why she didn't or wouldn't say anything. You know what I mean? Hold on one second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Is someone being crazy in the chat? Okay, never mind. But why hasn't Malaya talked? That's exactly the point, Sassy. So the only theory that I can come up with that would make sense of why Malaya wouldn't talk either and would keep this quiet is if she would be responsible in this as well, right? Because if one of them, they're not together anymore, right? She left. Remember, her family immediately came for Daniel. And that's important. That's important because most of us, of our families, God forbid someone in your family goes missing, you go to their house and help. You're not going to start throwing your daughter's son under the bus if you say they walked out on their own. Now, if you know he's a piece of shit and doesn't take care of the family, is always on rugs, doesn't, works one day a week, not trying to find any other job or whatever, and there's been a history, especially with the kids and bruises and all that, that's when you're going to probably throw one of your her husband or boyfriend under the bus, right? You're going to be like, you SOB, you never cared for these kids. They were always bruised. They were always dirty. You guys were always high. So, in my opinion, if they got into it's what I call a neglectful accident. Neglectful accident is they didn't want this to happen, but the negligence due to their actions caused this to happen, and therefore their negligence will make them go to prison, right? Like, well, if there is rug residue in the house, the kids got in it, what you didn't, or they left something on the counter, or there was a trace of something, you wasn't planning for them to, die or get sick, but it happened because you brought those toxins into the home, right? So, in my opinion, it has to be, again, if they know something or if they are involved, it has to be something that they, regardless of how divided they are in their relationship, one thing that they will be in lockstep with each other about is keeping themselves out of prison. Wouldn't Justin feel more remorseful if it was an accident? He seems so manipulative and bold. Just wondering even if this theory makes the most sense. Do you mean, what do you mean by Justin, Charlotte? Like the brother? I mean, did Justin seem so emboldened? I haven't heard okay, Daniel. Justin, wouldn't Daniel feel more remorse if he was an accident? He is so manipulative and emboldened. I think Daniel doesn't really live in too much reality, especially when he's talking about the kids. I think when you are under the when you're under the influence of addiction, you are very selfish, very, very selfish. And you're masking. Yeah, you cannot care for anyone when you're on a street drug like meth and are a chronic user. You just can't. Because naturally, your brain is saying, you've got to feed me first. You've got to feed me first. And that goes so far as even removing the addict itself. The drug will, unalive the addict themselves because it's so much. Addiction is one of the only things that will it'll kill you. Your everything is your addiction. Yes, sure is. Yep. Yep. And so that's why it definitely changes the brain composition. But that is why when you are addicted, from the day you become addicted to if you are 25 years old and you are on rugs for 10 years and you're 35 when you get clean, you have a 25-year-old mentality. Even though you're 35, you stop maturing the day you become addicted. And you have to make up for that. And that's very hard to do. That's why it's not only physically hard to get clean. The first part is the physical or the mental detox, but then after that, it is learning to relive. Learning to relive. I tell you, I told you guys I'll be clean 13 years next month. And I had a surgery. I was on, I knew my doctor. I was on extremely, extremely powerful pain pills. And when I got clean, I would go in my therapist's office and I would just be like, I knew I needed to be clean. I didn't want to be clean though. I really didn't. Because it was my mind at the time. The world seemed so gritty. I told my therapist that. I'm like, God, the world seems so gritty right now. I mean, I didn't have any serotonin or anything left in my brain. You know what I mean? Like it was always doing it for me. That's what addiction does. Right? I've never ever done a street rug in my entire life, and I became an addict because of a surgery, because of a doctor. Never done a street drug in my life, ever. Not once. So there's no shame in addiction at all. Right? At all. So it's difficult, but you're very selfish whenever you're under that influence because it is your brain. I mean, for people like that use H and stuff like that, like these people, like they don't even know. It's like Russian roulette, and they know that they just want to feel good at the time. Nobody wants to be addicted. Nobody wants that hell. But I will say that you know, when they use things like that, they don't know if they're going to be dead in 30 seconds. They don't know they're going to be dead in 30 seconds. They're either going to feel really good in 30 seconds. To them, they're going to get their fix, or they're going to be dead or having Narcan. That's how powerful it is. Right? Congratulations, BB. So
Anything so that way they wouldn't judge her if she left.
I mean, I was only addicted 6 months. Just 6 months. I mean, so it wasn't a extremely compulsive behavior with me, right? Like some people do, you know, things for years. And that has to be really hard.
Another man, another father of her kids. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what that was the impression that I got off of speaking with people who are with kind of close. Did you get that impression in the last couple of weeks or anything that maybe perhaps the relationship was not going to last?
I heard from a source that she was planning on leaving Daniel 2 weeks prior to before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
She was happy when she first came here because she had a place to live. They had a place to live rent free.
Yeah.
Rent free, people. The only thing they had to do was pay the power bill. But after I asked them how long they were going to stay, and they said till after Meadow was born, the baby was born, and they said it was only temporary.
Yeah.
2 years later, they were still here. So if she didn't want to be here, she could have left anytime she wanted to. Nobody was holding her back.
No, yeah, I know. But for a young lady who, you know, she has 2 kids from one man, now has another child from another man, you know, I can see how that can be a daunting conversation to have with her parents and her family. And, you know, for whatever reason, and I can see somebody, you know, saying, you know, being more open about certain things, maybe even stretching certain things so that way they won't be judged for leaving that scenario.
Yeah.
You know, not saying that that's exactly what happened. I have no idea, but just kind of saying
probably
it did kind of seem like they were, or that she was ready to go. And that doesn't mean that I think she did anything to these kids. It doesn't make sense to me. And I've told you that, Janie, that it doesn't make sense for Malaya to
most part Mohawk, I think.
abducted her own kids like this, to me, at least.
Well, she didn't have any problem leaving Patty's house, and Daniel lived there with them.
That's true.
She wouldn't have had any problem leaving here, and Daniel lived with her here.
Right. No, I get that. And, you know, last couple questions I have for you before we get too long.
And I sympathize with people in the UK. I really do. My sister lives in Scotland, and she can't even get ibuprofen. They only allow like so many ibuprofen, you know. So when she comes here, I take her to Sam's Club and I get her the big ass bottle of ibuprofen every time she comes here. I'm like, you can't have ibuprofen? Like they only allow you like a certain amount of ibuprofen. I'm like, that would suck. She gets migraines all the time. I'm reading between the lines with Malaya. Did her laundry at her grandma Patty's, that Malaya, she said she didn't bring it back, but yeah. I had major surgery in 2015 and I took nothing for pain. Screw the risk. I'm a puss. I'm a puss. When I had surgery, I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It hurt so bad. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Fall's coming. How much of a difference? I know right now it's not a big difference, but as fall progresses, as we go into October, how does the landscape change?
We can't get codeine without a prescription
Just the
here
leaves
either.
fall. The landscape doesn't change at all. Like, I mean,
Well, like the ibuprofen, it doesn't have any opioids in it or anything. And then there's Tylenol, just acetaminophen. I had both my kids with nothing because I didn't want to mess. Yeah, if you can deal with it without pain or without rugs, do it. But you just need to have, a schedule.
the leaves just fall off the trees. Like, I mean,
So you can see
there's
further
nothing
though.
changes out here. Huh?
You can see a little. Can you see further? Maybe not like a tremendous amount. I'm not thinking that you could see miles, but is it easier to see through the underbrush, what's under the trees during the fall versus
get a leave in
maybe perhaps
Canada?
in May?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because when we had that there, whenever we had that I
Flood.
forget. I'm trying to, the storm.
Yeah.
It's been the same way. It hasn't changed any at all. And as I said, like when we used
There's
to
no
take the
way.
kids for walks, Daniel and I, we used to take the.
There's just no way she took all those clothes. It doesn't make sense to take all of your entire wardrobe to have washed. I mean, if Malaya was taking all of her clothes, and trust me, we all have a lot of clothes. We all have a lot of clothes. If you have money or not, you got a lot of clothes. We just do. And if she was taking all of her clothes, every sock, every stitch, everything, and taking 6 bags of Jack and Lily's clothes and taking Daniel's clothes and all of that, Daniel would have been like, what the hell's going on? It just doesn't, no. Just doesn't make sense.
Grandchildren and for walks, and I'd end up carrying Jack through the woods because he wouldn't walk because it's that bad. Like, I mean, as I said, all the trails here are either blowing down or they're grew up. Like these trails haven't been used out here in years. So the only trail that's normally used is the old road up the top of the hill here to the pipeline is the only one that's used.
But that's a different pipeline than.
If you go to Mexico, you can get whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Boots, right.
It's the same pipeline, but it's cut in half. It's cut in half because of the Lansdowne Road. Like you can go up back of my house to the pipeline, you cross the railroad tracks, and then you cross the Lansdowne Road, and then you go back on the pipeline again.
So the only.
What? Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the damn. Hold the phone. What? Hold on. Listen to what she says again.
In half because of the
Hold on.
land. It's cut in half. It's the old road up the top of the hill here to the pipeline is the only one that's used.
But that's a different pipeline than the Boots, right?
Listen
It's
to
the
this.
same pipeline, but it's cut in half. It's cut in half because of the Lansdowne Road. Like
Oh.
you can go up back
It's cut in half because of the Lansdowne Road, but you
to my house to the pipeline, you cross the railroad tracks, and then
cross the railroad
you
tracks,
cross the Lansdowne Road,
cross the Lansdowne Road,
and then you go back on the pipeline again.
and then you go back on the pipeline again. Well. This is very interesting. Look at this. Okay. Is this the pipeline? This is the pipeline, right? Because she's saying, you go to the back of my house. See, this is the back of their house. They would have taken this. And from what I understand, this is where the boot print was found. Cross the railroad tracks, cling, cross Lansdowne Road, cling, and go back on the pipeline trail. Or, which is right here, those two. Or this way, and then this way, and cross it, and then go back on the trail. Huh. That's where here and Daniel both did run away. What is a pipeline? I think it's just a pipeline, right? Like it may be natural gas or something, right? Isn't that what a pipeline is? Oil.
So the only trail that's accessible right now, or at that time, just so happened to be the same trail where they found boot prints, correct?
Yeah, well, the pipeline is all open. Like, I mean, it's an open space.
Right.
Like, I mean, it does. They keep it trimmed.
Right.
Oh,
You see, I mean, that, to me, that just kind of leads more into what I'm thinking.
yes.
You know what I mean? It'd be different, you know. And
That's
to me,
quite a walk for two kids through the woods, and I'm a grown up. And
I mean, you got to realize there's a lot of gas and oil in Canada.
it takes me quite a while.
It's the second biggest country on the planet, other than Siberia, Russia. Next is Canada. Lots of oil, lots of natural gas.
While to walk from here to my brother's house.
no, I know there was a 2-year-old though that walked through Arizona desert, 7 miles. 2-year-old.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, as I said, I'm an adult, and it takes me quite a while to walk. Even if I went through the trail, it's going to take me quite a while to walk through a trail.
Oh,
I mean, average.
really, Janie? She's an adult. She said she was 60 some, and she says it's going to take her a long time to walk it. But it only took you 10 minutes to clear that big ass piece of land, Janie, that you said you searched in 10 minutes. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, Caper. Absolutely. I mean, this is the area Janie said she searched in that 10 minutes. Let me show you. Right. This piece of right here. She said she searched all of this in 10 minutes. Now, let's just look. That's 0.9 miles right there. By 0.2 miles, 0.26. That is 0.30 square miles. That's perimeter. Okay, let's see. Yeah, not a chance. Let me just show you this. All right. So Janie says she searched all this, right? And then back behind the house. All right, so we're right here. Look how far all of this woods. Let me show you. We got to keep going. To right here. Back over there, all of that and over. All of this woods. She said she did in 10 minutes. Didn't take her phone. None of that. In 10 minutes. Her limping. Not a chance. Not a chance. People who have nothing to hide in crime hide nothing. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. 1000%. Let me finish.
Average foot speed about, let's just say they're going slow at 3 miles an hour. I mean, if it's 40 minutes that they were out there walking, I mean, that's 2 miles, 2+ miles that they would have gotten. And that's at a very snail pace.
It's 1.5 miles from my door to my brother's door. 1.5 miles.
See, and in 40 minutes, they could have gone further than that.
Not Jack. No, because Jack always stopped to look for bugs, even out here in the yard when the other kids wanted to play with him. He was too busy looking for bugs.
And what did I say? Any kid that's 4 years old has no attention span, to be honest. They have no attention span, right? It's not like Jack and Lily if they would walk off, they're just going to continue to walking straight and not stopping. That's not how kids work, right? They're playing, they're giggling, they're looking at stuff, they'll stop. And they don't walk generally in just like they don't walk in a straight line either. And remember, Daniel said, and Malaya, up to 20 minutes. There's no way. Hey, butterflies. How are you, darling? What, 3 to 4 minutes? 1.5 miles to Ron's house. Yes. Yes. 1,000%. My 4-year-old complained, legs tired. Yes. Guys, we're halfway through this, and I'm at 2 hours. I'm going to come right back and do a quick live because, get this. Have you heard about what's happening in San Antonio right now with the 2 children? Anyone heard about it? 2 children have been found dead in San Antonio. And something's not adding up. I'll be right back in 5 minutes. It's really crazy. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Much love, everyone. God bless.